Welcome back in to Exit 99 Sports. As always, my name is Caleb DeLoach, and we are now mid-May, so we are really closing in on the school year. As I'm recording, graduation just happened this weekend, last night, recording here on Saturday the 17th. So, we are here at the very, very end of the school year. A lot of seasons are over with for several sports and a lot of individuals, teams. And so we are right here at the end of the school year, at the end of the spring sports calendar. And so, we're about done here. We've about wrapped up this school year. We'll get reflective later on, but it's been a lot of fun for me personally, covering this and, talking about sports, doing it on the radio for Jackson, basketball, football this year. So it's been a lot of fun, and it's been another good week of local sports in the area. We've begun the postseason pretty much throughout every sport now at this point in the area, so we'll start to kind of get into hopefully some of these results that we're seeing thus far to this point, but we will take a step back to this past week, starting Monday, May 12th, and I'll start over at on baseball. Monday, Cape took on Marion. Pretty good Marion team. They had their way, I believe, now at this point with everybody in the Cape Jackson area. I think they are undefeated against Cape County teams, if memory serves. I know they beat Notre Dame. They beat Jackson at Jackson by 1, I want to say. And Cape went to Marion, lost that one 13-5. Tough loss for the Tigers. They had a huge winning streak, as but since the SEMO Conference tournament, it has not gone the Tigers' way pretty consistently. They have picked up some wins, but a little bit of a skid here heading into the postseason. On Tuesday, pretty interesting couple of ball games we had. Saxony knocked off Puxico 2-0. Good win over another small school by the Crusaders. Then we had a couple of very competitive, very fun games. We'll talk about the one. Jackson played CBC, a Metro Catholic Conference school, always tough. CBC is usually loaded with college-level players. Always feels like they have at least one kid that's going very high major. Jackson was able to come away with the victory there, 5-4 over the Cadets. Hats off to Drew Parsons. He got the start. He went 6 2/3, only gave up 4 hits in the ball game. Tough to do. Very, very good CBC squad, like I said. Tough to go up there, tough to get a victory, and that's what Jackson did. Another nice win over a couple now of Metro Catholic schools. They beat DeSmet this past week as well, so or a couple weeks ago now. So a good close to the season for the Indians. I feel like a lot of people were probably concerned about how things were going early in the year. You saw Jackson lose a few games that you're maybe not used to seeing them. Cape beat them for the first time in like 8 years. Notre Dame beat them for the first time in like 6 years, something crazy like that. So I know a lot of people were down on the Indians early, but it feels like they've kind of rounded into form. Guys are hitting, pitching is there now. Feel like they're pretty complete right now at the end of the year. Now, obviously, they're about to have to go up and play some very, very good competition in the postseason. So we'll get there when we get there, but great job by the Indians kind of closing the season strong. So like I said, they got CBC, beat them 5-4, and Cale Crowley as well. He hit really well, 2 for 3, had a home run, 2 RBIs. So he is playing well. Indians playing well. And then we had a big one here in Cape Girardeau. Cape went to Notre Dame, and the Bulldogs come up with the 7-6 win. Channing Pattengill got the game-winning single, bottom of the 6th, and they were able to close out the Tigers there at home. I know they honored Jess Bolin pregame. So pretty cool. I know TJ came around to Bolin for Notre Dame, came around to score the winning run. Cool scene over there. Honoring Jess Bolin. He has had, obviously, like I said, his grandson plays on the team, but, he's had a big hand in both programs, had a lot of players play for him from Cape and Notre Dame and, all over the area. Just a legend in the area. Sad to see him go this year. He's meant a lot to a lot of people, and he is probably the biggest, most central figure in baseball in Southeast Missouri. So pretty cool to see them honor him. Notre Dame wore Capitol Hall's jersey, so that was pretty cool as well. Notre Dame picks up the big rivalry win, 7-6. I know Cape just beat them now a couple weeks ago in the SEMO Conference tournament, so nice bounce back for the Bulldogs. Then on Wednesday, Jackson played Kennett, and common theme here. I know it was written, I saw the Jackson baseball Twitter account, I think, posted that they win 3-2, and that was their 14th one-run game of the season. 14 one-run games. 3-2, Kennett, they're not the Kennett that is winning state titles like they were a few years ago, but still a very good program, proud program. They make things very difficult for people. And, Jackson knocking off Kennett 3-2. Matt Carter got the walk-off single there in the 7th. Grant Brown had a leadoff triple, so he came around to score on the single by Carter. And Braden Smith pitched well, helped close out that one, went 2 innings, had a perfect 2 innings, no hits, no runs. So good pitching, good hitting by the Indians when they need it. And like I said, 14 one-run games is insane. Definitely make you, the hair you have left turn gray or start falling out, one or the other. So congratulations to the Indians. That's how they end the regular season, 19-13. Good year, like I said, came back from maybe a rough start, some tough losses they're not used to having. They were kind of able to – they didn't let go of the rope. Those are kind of the two options you have, really. And there's another program, Cape Central, kind of a similar thing. They started the season, I think, 0-6. Then I think they immediately bounced back and had like a 10-game win streak. So, very proud of both programs. Did not let go of the rope. You have it. That's what the opportunity. You have one option or the other, right? You struggle, things are not going your way. You can either just pack it in, just say, hey, we're going to get smoked by some people, whatever. Just trying to cash a paycheck here. Just trying to get through the season. But no, they both turned it around. They both dug in. They rallied around each other. Good job by the coaching staffs and the players to get things turned around. And both ball clubs finished the year very, very well. Speaking of that, Cape Central knocked off DeSoto 5-4, so good win by them. However, they did come up Saturday and lose to Oakville 6-3. Good Oakville team. So it was a tough loss there for Cape Central. They really had to dig back, fight back. It was 5-0, so Cape did kind of claw back into it a little bit, but unable to pick up the win to kind of close out the season. So, a tough way maybe to end the year if you are Cape Central, but you're in a much better spot than you started out. Like I said, they began the year 0-6, kind of sputtering. I didn't know where they were going to end up. First year head coach, it's like, hey, maybe they're just taking a season to get acclimated to whatever. But no, they dug in, they fought, they finished the year well. And like I said, they do come up short against Oakville 6-3, but a good Oakville team. And yeah, so now we are able to kind of just jump straight into the postseason for baseball. Everybody now is at that point going into the postseason. Let's see, where are we going to start? We'll get to the postseason here in just a moment, I guess. We'll talk about all the other stuff that happened this past week first. Let's see, we'll scroll down to girls soccer. Let's go to soccer. Jackson, huge win Monday. They played Sykeston, SEMO conference opponent, won 8-0. Dominant showing by the Indians. I think they scored like 2 minutes in, and then Maya Domian, I know, scored like 5 minutes later maybe. The goal count is Maya Domian had a hat trick, 3 goals for her. The SEMO signee, Riley Monaghan, had 2 goals. Mia Becker had 2 goals, and Alyssa Lord had a goal, make it 8 there for the Indians. So they're playing well. They're playing how you expect. I think 14-3 is their final record in the regular season. So great year there for the Indians. As always, you've come to kind of expect that out of Jackson. They are the class of Southeast Missouri. They're the team that has really produced the most college-level athletes. They have a pipeline to SEMO that's been going and continuing on with Maya Domian. So congrats to them. Great season. First year under Coach B-Sink, so shout out to Caleb B-Sink. Good first year at the helm. Coach Mack over there at Jackson's been great for 15 years. Something like that. He was there for a long time. He did really, really well. Love Coach Mack, but yeah, they keep it going just where they left off. Similarly, Notre Dame got an 8-0 win over Farmington. On Monday, hold your breath here. They're about to play again. To finish out, almost, and then finishing out the regular season, Notre Dame knocks off Cape 1-0 on Tuesday. So nice rivalry win there. That was kind of the prelude to what you're about to see here in a second. And then Saxony ends their season, lost to Perryville. Perryville, pretty good squad up there. Knocked off Saxony 6-1. So then we are in the postseason as well for girls soccer, but they played. For me, it's today. For you, the watcher, listener, it might be yesterday, 2 days ago, whenever you're hearing this. Jackson played Seckman in Class 4 District 1 tournament, and Notre Dame and Cape were actually playing at Cape Central. So, I will implore you to, go check it out over there at Cape Central, because game one of the day for me today. Game 1, 10 a.m., Notre Dame knocked off Farmington. Not a surprise. They just played each other 4 days, previously. Addison Clippard had 2 goals to lead the Bulldogs to that win. An expected win. Farmington, not very good. I think they finished here with 1 win, maybe. So the expected result does happen. The number 1 Bulldogs keep marching on. And then in the second game, the home team, Cape Central, played Sykeston. I know they have a win over Sykeston earlier. I thought it would be more competitive, but the Tigers come out and stomp Sykeston 6-0. A lot of different people in the score column. Emma Smith had 2, but then Aubrey Roth, Tatum Frick, Nora Austin, and Jessica Hickman each got a goal apiece. So good signs there. And so we do get a Cape Girardeau matchup here in the semifinals, chance to go to the district title. The other game, I know Poplar Bluff on the other side, there's a 2 seed. They won 2-0. I believe they'll be playing Festus. So anyway, on Monday, it will be Notre Dame, Cape Central, 5 p.m. at Cape. So get out there, go check it out. Should be a good environment. 2 very, very good local teams. Should be a lot of fun, kind of seeing them face off against each other. Kids that have played each other their entire life. So should be a good one. Winner goes to the district title, loser season's done. Kind of how it works, unfortunately. But yeah, a good way to come to a head between these teams here in the district semifinals. So that's going to be an exciting one. And then, like I said, for me personally, you guys have known the result, but I just saw the final come in for Seckman and Jackson. Jackson played Seckman, knocked them off 2-0. Second win, I think, over Seckman. Always a tough game. I say that. Could be a massive win streak at this point by Jackson over Seckman, but I know, during my time in high school and some of the years following, it was always a very tough matchup between Seckman and Jackson, very physical game. The Indians come up with a big win there over Seckman. Now 15-3, they'll be advancing to the semifinals, and they'll be taking on a very good, the number 2 seed. Jackson's a 3. They'll be taking on a very good Narrix Hall team up there at Narrix Hall. That game will be on Tuesday at 6 p.m. So, I'd say decent timing-wise. It is in Webster Groves, Missouri, if you know where that is. I want to test my geology, I think, or geography. My geography, I think it's kind of west suburban St. Louis-ish, kind of, but southwest. So we'll see. Might have to play by ear, kind of with the weather up there. It's kind of a TBD type situation. Looking ahead, maybe a little bit of weather and a little bit of rain coming through. So keep an eye out for that. It should be a good one. Narrix Hall, like I said, there's a 2 seed. They'll be playing at home, so it will not be easy by any means. Very, very good team. Should be tough. Jackson has played a very, very tough schedule, though, this year. They've played good squads from St. Louis. They went out west, played some tough teams. They've knocked off Marquette. They've knocked off Elias. They've dominated this area, beating all comers. They played a tough one, lost to Timberland. They went out west, like I said, beat a good Glendale squad. So they played the best team in the state of Missouri in Corey Zoo. So Jackson's definitely battle-tested, so they will have to go on the road. Played Narrix Hall for an opportunity to presumably rematch against Corey Zoo. once again, we'll kind of cross that line when we get there. I'll be rooting for the Indians. Many people have said this Jorge Zoo team is the best in the state, period, regardless of class. They won a state title a year ago. They have the player of the year in the state of Missouri, who I think is only like a sophomore. So a very, very talented team. It will be a tough one for sure, but I'm excited. But don't get ahead of yourself. Jackson does have a tough opponent in the semifinals that they're ranked below. So it'll be an uphill battle for the Indians, but best of luck as they try to keep the dream alive and move into a big-time matchup against maybe Jorge Zoo. And then for Saxony, they will be starting district play on Tuesday. They'll be taking on Perryville, who they just played at that point like 5 days beforehand. So it won't be easy. Like I said, Perryville did just beat them pretty good. Pretty solid Perryville team. They're around 500. They knocked off Saxony 6-1. So, maybe a chance for Perryville to overlook them. So you might be rooting, if you're rooting for Saxony, that might be the spin you put on the game. But it will not be easy at all. It's going to be up at DeSoto, looks like the location for that one. So it'll be a good matchup. Both teams, according to Misha, sit at 8-7. Both teams decently high scoring, averaging around 3+ goals a game. But yeah, the Crusaders will have their hands full playing a team that did just beat them by 5 goals. So we'll be, like I said, we'll be rooting for Saxony, but it will definitely be an uphill battle. They come in as the 5 seed. Best of luck to them. Kind of continuing on, talking about results that we had this past week. Another postseason game you saw was Saxony. I mentioned in the last episode, their boys team made it to the district title in upset fashion. They beat Notre Dame, who was the 1 seed in their district. They went on, though, and played St. Pius X, a team that had already beat Saxony earlier in the year. St. Pius did get the sweep over Saxony. The positive, you can say, it stinks, right? You lose kind of here in town. But nobody expected you to be there at that point, and you made it there. It was a tough season. A young program. They finished the year 9-15, but they closed the season really well, got a couple wins in the district tournament, and like I said, the huge upset victory, 5-set upset over Notre Dame was huge and a cool way for them to kind of finish the season in a way there before dropping to St. Pius X. So shout out to them. Hopefully they can build on this good season and kind of carry it over to next year, see if they're able to keep the momentum going through the off season. The other big postseason event, I guess you could say, the golf tournament throughout the area happened this past Monday for Jackson, Class 5, District 1, high level of golf. They come in 4th as a team. They shot .301 as a team. Not the best, straight up, just not the best play that they've had all season. They certainly, I said, I don't want to, crap on them too hard, but, they certainly had much better tournaments here closing out the year, and just some guys just had rough days. That's how it works. Golf's a tough sport. It's mental. I don't know exactly what the elements were like up there where they were playing, what the course was like, but they do, like I said, finish 4th as a team. The top 2 teams are advanced as a team onto state. So as a team, they won't be advancing, but they did get a couple of individual qualifiers. I will just kind of run down. They finished behind Lafayette, SLU, Rolla, and then Jackson was 4th. I'll just kind of run down the individual results. They did have a huge individual result with Marshall Earnhardt. He actually won the medalist honors, shot a 68, come in first by himself, 2 strokes ahead of second place. So a big-time day for Marshall up there. And then the other individual qualifier for the Indians, Ian Lambert, came in 10th. He shot a 73 in a 3-way tie for 10th. And so the top 25 individuals get to advance on, but top 25, I think. They advance on. So some guys that were just below that spot. Drew Eller finished 30th. He shot an 80 for the Indians. Braden Malls shot an 80 as well. And then Jimmy Williams also shot an 80 as well. The SEMO Conference champion, I believe, Jimmy Williams, yeah. So maybe a little bit tough day at the course for those guys. You've seen them shooting pretty consistently below 80. That's how it is, unfortunately. Golf's tough. Kind of didn't break their way that day, so those guys did not make it. But there are two very, very good golfers going to state for the Indians in Earnhardt and Lambert. And then in the Class 4 District 1 golf tournament, Cape Central came in 5th place as a team. They shot 330. So as a team, they won't be advancing, but they did get 2 individual qualifiers themselves. Seth Ferguson and Drew Ferguson. Pretty cool for that family. They both get to advance in state as individuals. The winner of that district, Poplar Bluff, unbelievable. I mean, this is a Cape region here, Cape Girardeau County kind of area focused podcast, but SEMO Conference team, Poplar Bluff, they have been unbelievable this year. So they shot 285. They are poised to maybe win a state title. They had their top 3 finishers, went 67, 69, 72, all from Poplar Bluff at that tournament. So big time scores out of the Poplar Bluff boys. I said Ferguson, he came in 8th, or Seth Ferguson, they're both Ferguson. Seth Ferguson came in 8th. He shot a 77. And then Drew Ferguson shot an 81 to tie for 16th. Top 20 advanced through the state. So back behind them, Garrett Schmidt, he will be playing at the next level in college. He finishes 26, shot an 85 for the tournament. 32nd and 34th. Seaball and Ross from Cape Central, they shoot 87, 88 respectively to finish out their day. So good showings there by Cape Central. They, like I said, finishing 5th out of a group of 14 teams, not bad, nothing to hang your head about. They do get a couple of guys to move on into the Class 4 state tournament, so that'd be exciting. And then Saxony played Class 2 District 1 tournament, and they come in 2nd as a team. So they will be advancing as a team to the championship. Some of the notable finishers for them, the top individuals, top 20 guys for them. Bryce Gabler comes in 5th place. Let's see what Bryce shot. So, Saxony will be moving on, them and St. Vincent. So a couple of local squads will be moving on in the state tournament. As a team, they shot 381. I mentioned Bryce Gabler. He shot an 87, finished 5th. Wesley Keeney came in 7th and shot 88. And then I believe the other top 20 guy, Thomas Haas, shot a 98 to come in 19th for the Crusaders. So shout out to those guys. Hopefully they're able to keep it going, keep those scores dropping a little bit more, maybe make some noise up at state. It'd be pretty cool. So you see the Crusaders up there as a whole team. I believe that does do it for most team sports and stuff. So the other thing that happened Saturday, like I said, for me, kind of time traveling here, I did it today on my side of things. So we had some track meets going on in the area. Cape and Jackson were up at the Class 5 District 1 meet, and I do have the results there at Class 5 District 1. They were up at Farmington. Nice day, beautiful day, at least here in the area. For track and field. So there are quite a few individuals that are going to be moving on. So the way it works, track and field, you have districts, the top 4, relays or individuals advance to the sectionals, and at the sectionals, the top 4 in each event in sectionals go on to state. And so the people that are going to be advancing on in Class 5, in the 100, you have Blaine Reagan ran for the Indians. He continues to be incredible. He ran a 10.7, lowering his PR, getting closer and closer to that Mario Whitney school record. We'll see if that's ever able to be broken. Reagan runs 10.7 flat, comes in first. Memphis Maddox, only as a freshman, does come in 8th. Runs 11.31. He won't be advancing, but a good freshman year for Memphis. Excited to see him out on the football field here in a few months. Indians had nobody advance, or the Tigers had nobody advance in the 200. Doesn't appear, according to these results. Has Memphis Maddox finishing 6th. I will check back on that here. Maybe double check these results. But in the 400, you had both Reagan brothers, Blaine and Barrett, running. And Blaine comes in first. Barrett finishes second. Shout out to them. They'll be advancing there in the 400. Blaine ran 47.53, which drops his PR and school record by, I think, another 10th. I think he ran 47.64 maybe previously. So his PR keeps dropping in both events now, in the 100 and the 400. Barrett comes in second at 48.92. Both very, very good runners there. They will be, if they continue that pace on, there's a good chance both of them are running in the state championship in the 400. So very exciting for them. In the 800, the Indians have a couple of guys going through. Nate Meisner comes in second at 159. Aiden Nidboski comes in fourth, so he just squeaks in there, 201.32, about a half second behind or ahead of the fifth place finisher. And then he turns around and comes in first in the 1600, a little bit more of his forte at 4:33.71. In the 32, Chase Wendell from Jackson will be advancing. Sophomore runs 10:10. He comes in second place behind a runner from Oakville. Nobody will be advancing. Close finishes there for the Tigers in the 110 hurdles. Demarion Williams, freshman, comes in fifth. Warren Eanes comes in sixth, kind of finishing out his really, really good track career. Warren been a very, very good hurdler throughout his career at Cape Central. Same thing. Nobody from Cape or Jackson advancing in the 300 hurdles. There is a kid from Poplar Bluff that's going to be very, very competitive as they go on through state, though, Patrick Slack. Very good hurdler in the 110 and the 300. So going to kind of expect to see his name moving on. In the 4x1, the Indians break a school record. They run 42.53. They come in first place in the 4x1. And in the 4x2, they do the same thing. Break a school record. They run 129. They get first place there. You can also shout out the Reagan family for some of those stats. I know they were a part of those teams as well. In the 4x4, Cape Central will be moving on. They finished third in 3:32 behind Lindbergh and Poplar Bluff. And then the 4x8, Jackson does come in fourth place at 8:43. Pretty clear-cut top four there. Farmington, Lindbergh, Northwest, and Jackson. So we'll see how those teams do. Moving on. Individuals in the jumps. Ryan Larry from Jackson will be moving on. He jumps 183, finishes second in the high jump. In the long jump, Larry gets third, and Evan Turley gets fourth. So those guys will be moving on behind a couple of, local guys. Farmington senior Brett Dry gets first, quarterback for them. And R.J. Layton from Poplar Bluff gets second. Nobody made it in the triple jump, just outside. Evan Turley from Jackson finishes fifth. Tucker Teague finishes sixth for the Indians. So nobody advancing there. The maybe outside of the Reagans, the most easy lock there was in the field. Kent Sheridan from Cape Central, pole vaulter, does come in first place, and he'll be moving on. Like I said, if he's clipping that PR, he has a good chance to be medaling very, very high at the state meet. So shout out to Sheridan. He keeps it going, doing what he does best. Discus, Bryson Wessel, left tackle for the Indians. Third place finisher in wrestling for the Indians. Kind of showing off the all-around skill set he has. Comes in second in the discus. 46.53, big-time throw by Wessel. We'll talk more about Bryson here in a little bit as well. As he moves on there. And then the shot put, you have three total area people advancing on. Gavin Shin drops 14.86 on his last throw of the day to sneak in at fourth place. Zykel Hall, Cape Central senior, throws 14.91. He'll be moving on. And then in first place, Isaiah Husky throws 16 meters. That's just, he can wake up out of bed and throw 16 meters. He's hit over 17 this year. Excited to see where he's able to, kind of finish out. He has a very good chance of finishing high in the state meet. Eventually you're going to run into a guy named Jackson Cantwell. Probably not going to beat him. But Husky, very, very, very good shot put thrower for the Tigers. He's moving on. And then on the girls' side, a lot of people advancing there as well. The star freshman for the Tigers, Taraji Riley, wins the 100. Aaliyah Jackson comes in second for the Tigers, so they both get to move on. In the 200, it is Sharalea Jackson. She comes in second. Brooklyn Williams of Jackson of Cape comes in second. And Brooklyn Williams of Jackson comes in third. And then Jamie Dawson-Ide, really good multi-sport athlete. She gets fourth in the 200, and she bounces back in the 400 to gets first place in a minute flat, so great race there by her. And Elena Kentner, a freshman for the Indians, does advance as well. She gets fourth place. In 800, it'll just be Michaela Drum of Jackson advancing. She gets second, 225. In the 16, though, the Indians go 1-2. That's Emma Niedbalski gets first in 5:20.34, and then 15 seconds behind, Annika Barks gets second place. A big-time run there by Emma. The juniors looking to make some noise maybe here as we advance through the postseason. Annika Barks gets third in the 3,200. Very good run by a runner from Lindbergh, coming in 11:30. Maya Farrar does also sneak across in fourth place for the Tigers in the 100 hurdles. So the senior season is staying alive. In the 300, Kendall Leland from Jackson comes in second place. There's a big-time hurdler, by the way, at Poplar Bluff. Lynn Cottrell, only a freshman, finished 3 seconds ahead of Kendall Leland from Jackson. So watch out for Cottrell, a name you'll definitely be hearing a lot of over the next few years. Excuse me. In the 4x1, Cape Central, very, very good relay teams in the sprints. Obviously, like I said, they have Taraji Riley, who's incredible, Leah Jackson, and Sharalea Jackson, very, very good. Their sprint relays are very good. They come in first place in the 4x1. Jackson comes in third. In the 4x2, Cape Central comes in first there as well. Nobody advancing on in the 4x4. Jackson comes in fifth there, but they do turn around and win the 4x8 by about 5 seconds. So the Indians 4x8 team, very, very good. Some of those names I said earlier that are very good long-distance runners are part of that team. So it's a very, very good team they've got there in the 4x8. On the high jump, looks like Adeline Prater from Jackson will be moving on. She ties with another jumper from Farmington at 1.42 meters. Excuse me. In the long jump, we have a couple of athletes moving on. Taraji Riley, not just a straight-line sprinter, very good long jumper as well. She gets first. And then Brooklyn Williams, who will also be competing in sectionals in the 200, she gets third place. So they both do move on. In the pole vault, Amelia Fox, the freshman, she comes in second behind a pole vaulter from Northwest, a senior. She jumps 3.2 meters, so good jump there by her. Keep it moving on. Like I said, only a freshman, very good season. In the discus, you have a couple, one from Cape, one from Jackson. Layla Bergfield, the sophomore, gets first place in the discus, and then Emerson Gross, senior, comes in second. They're about half meter separating those two, so they'll both be moving on as well. In the javelin, Katarina Ellefson from Jackson, she gets first place, 37.21, and then Jayla Smith throws her way into fourth place, so she will be moving on to sectionals as well. In the shot put, it's all Emerson Gross, winning by nearly a full meter. She comes in first, and then Annika Nippen does come in fourth as well to advance. So you'll see a lot of Cape, a lot of Jackson athletes moving on to sectionals this upcoming week. We will take a gander at that here shortly as well and try to see if any more results have rolled in as of now, time of recording. So some big-time athletes there for the Indians and the Tigers to keep up with as they go on in state. Like I said, track and field, a little bit longer of a season, so they'll be going on, if they do make it to state, a few more weeks here in the season. So a lot of kids are going to be out on the track, not in school anymore. So shout out to them. I mentioned, let's see, so next week, I already talked about soccer, what we have going on there. A lot of teams still active, still playing in the world of soccer. In baseball, we have districts as well coming up this next week. I'll start in Class 6 and go down. So Class 6, District 1, Jackson, comes in as the 4 seed. A very, very good district, very competitive district. The 1 seed is Lindbergh. Good program, as always. They're very, very tough. Put out some very, very good D1 athletes out on the baseball diamond. So they're 22-9. Kirkwood is 2 seed. They're 17-6. Oakville, who just knocked off Cape Central, they're 18-10. And Jackson at 19-13. And Fox 14-8. Seckman has 15 wins. Melville has 18 wins. Only Northwest is the only team below 500 in the district. It will be up, the later games will be hosted at Kirkwood. However, Jackson and Fox will be playing at Jackson. So go check them out. It will be the 21st, which is Wednesday. It's May 21st, Wednesday. Go support the Indians. Looks like early weather forecast, so maybe some early afternoon showers. Hopefully that's cleared out. Looks like very, very windy day. We'll see how that affects things. Like I mentioned, Jackson will be taking on Fox. Fox is 4-8 or 14-8. Excuse me. They have had a pretty good season. They score a lot against some bad teams this season. They did come down to Jackson and the Indians, like they have on almost every game they played. Won by 1 run, 5-4 over the Warriors from Fox. But Fox has played some good teams. They've played very competitive schedule up in St. Louis area. So it'll be a tough ball game. It'll be at home for the Indians. So that is definitely an advantage. But it will not be easy whatsoever. Like I said, the Indians come in 19-13. There's been some crossover between the two schools, but there's no, transitive, somebody beat somebody, they lost to this guy. No. They've all beaten and lost to the exact same team, so should be a good matchup. Should be an even one. Like I said, it was separated by 1 run the last time they played, so it'll be tough. The winner will be taking on, presumably, Lindbergh the very next day on Thursday. And at the moment, you click on the Misha website, it says that will be at Lindbergh High School. So if that is the case, if the Indians do beat Fox, looks like they're going to be playing on the road at Lindbergh. And if they're able to pull off the upset over the 1 seed Flyers, and it will be at Kirkwood for the final on the 24th, Saturday at noon up there at Kirkwood. So be prepared for that. We'll keep moving down here. Class 5, District 1, that is where you will find Cape Central. The seeding there, the Tigers are 6th. The 1 seed is Farmington. Good year. Farmington, I know, beat. I believe they beat everybody here in the area, right? I think they beat Cape Jackson and Notre Dame. We'll look at that in just a moment. But Farmington's the 1 seed. Hillsboro's is 2, and Festus. Bluff is the 4. North County, and then Cape Central, Sykeston, and then DeSoto. Another district, pretty good district across the board. Pretty even teams. A lot of almost everybody from the 3 through the 8 spot is kind of right around 500. So who knows how it'll go. It says the host is North County, but similarly to the other district we just talked about, we'll see where they're playing at. And it will be, according to the Misha website, it will be at North County. Cape Central will be playing at 6:30 on the 21st, so that is Wednesday. They'll be taking on Festus. Like I said, Festus, pretty good squad. 14-1 is what they're listed at on the season. They're scoring about 5 runs per ball game. They played some similar opponents to Cape Central. They've, like I said, mostly beaten and lost to the same teams, so not a lot to really take away from that. They've played a lot of very similar opponents. But yeah, Festus, good team. They came into the year highly thought of, highly touted. So they may be kind of disappointed a little bit in their opinion, but they do play a tough schedule. They played, a lot of out-of-state teams. They play a lot of very good teams in the St. Louis region. So they are definitely capable and definitely a good opponent for the Tigers. So Cape will have to bring the A game. Looks like that will be up at North County to go make that terrible drive out to Bonne Terre, Missouri. Kind of gross. But 6:30 p.m., we'll be rooting for the Tigers. We'll see who they go with. They've been playing well across the board pretty much the back half of the season, like I've said a few times. Coach Palmer, his boy Keegan Palmer, has been playing really, really well, pitching and hitting. So if Cape Central is able to come away with a win, they will be playing again on Saturday the 24th against the winner of Hillsboro and Sykeston. If it is Hillsboro, that is a matchup that I believe Cape Central has already seen this year. According to the schedule, it says that is not the case, so ignore me. But yeah, so Hillsboro might be the opponent there in the second round. That would be Saturday at 2 p.m. at North County. So keep an eye out for that. And then moving down the line, we'll just look at what we have left. Notre Dame will be in Class 4, District 1. And also we're about to get to Saxony, who did play. As you already know, they just played for me earlier today. Notre Dame is in Class 4, District 1. They are the 3 seed there behind Dexter and Fredericktown. And then Notre Dame, Kennett's the 4 seed, Doniphan's the 5 seed. The host there is Kennett. So Notre Dame will be playing Fredericktown, who also has Marquand Zion, part of their team. It will be at Kennett. It will be Monday the 19th, 6 p.m. Another kind of, you're going to be looking out for the weather. Spring, it's kind of what you expect anyway. There's always rain possible. According to the weather look-ahead forecast, showers likely, possible thunderstorm, mostly cloudy, low around 70, a little bit of wind. So be prepared for the possibility of maybe that game getting pushed off. We'll see. Fredericktown, good squad, 15-9. They average about 4.5 runs scored a ball game. You know, they beat some pretty good teams. They beat Farmington. They beat Hillsboro. They beat Kelly. Kind of exist in that corridor between, St. Louis and down here. They played a pretty good schedule. They've lost at Saxony very early in the year. Went on a pretty big winning streak midway through the season, kind of closed out the season on a 4-game losing streak, it looks like. They lost to St. Pius X. West County was very good. Got blown out by Valley. So kind of an up-and-down year for Fredericktown. Definitely a winnable ball game if you're Notre Dame. I'm going to unofficially predict Notre Dame to win that ball game. And if that does hold true, only a 5-team district, so you are immediately in the championship. And the championship will be Wednesday against the winner of Dexter and Kennett. Kennett already played and won over Doniphan, the play-in game. So Dexter versus Kennett. On the other side of the bracket, Notre Dame and Fredericktown on the bottom half. And the winners will be playing down at Kennett. So if it is Dexter, it's a team that Notre Dame has already seen this year. You've seen them here across the southeast Missouri region. Dexter, for some common opponents, Dexter lost to Jackson by 1 run. They lost to Cape Central 3-0. They did beat Notre Dame earlier in the year 11-6. High-scoring contest. They kind of beat up on some of the smaller schools. They beat Notre Dame again on the 22nd in the SEMO Conference Tournament. 4-6 there. So Notre Dame's due, right? Or they beat Notre Dame, They beat Notre Dame 4-1. Or no, they lost. I can't read anymore. They lost to Notre Dame 4-1 in the SEMO Conference Tournament. So should be a good ball game. Will be interesting. I like Notre Dame to potentially get out of this district. They're playing pretty well. Once again, getting way ahead of ourselves if that is the case. You could be seeing a team from, a little bit up the interstate, St. John, Perryville, potentially, if they do get out of their district. But Class 3, District 2, where you'll find the Saxony Lutheran Crusaders, very tough district. Class 3, District 2 is the home of Scott City, who is 25-2. They spent a lot of the year number 1 in state in Class 3. Behind them, you've got East Prairie, who was loaded. Noah Johnson, very good player. 18-5, East Prairie on the season. You got Greenville, and then Kelly, Saxony, Woodland. But Saxony has already played their play-in game or their first-round quarterfinal game, however you want to refer to it. They knocked off Kelly, which is a good squad. Kelly's a very good team, but also they had to do it at Kelly, and they did so 4-2 over the Hawks. Nice win by Saxony. But, so a good win. Let's start there. Good win. Definitely big congratulations Very, very good offense over at Saxony. You've seen some crazy numbers put up. I just looked. They average 8.5 runs scored per game. They put up some huge numbers this year. When they play maybe inferior opponents, they've really laid on the lumber. They scored 5,000 runs in that one game where you had 4 home runs hit by a single player. So next up is Scott City. That game will be Monday, 4 p.m. It will be at Kelly. So not too far of a drive down there. Maybe a little bit of a home field advantage for Scott City, not having to go as far as well. Scott City, I mean, there's nothing that you don't maybe already know. They're one of the best in the state. They're loaded top to bottom. They score a ton of runs. They have very good pitching. They're only giving up 2 runs a game. They're averaging 8.6. Neutral site games like this one is, they're undefeated on the year, 5-0. So it will be a challenge. Like I said, only 2 losses on the year. I know they lost to Kennett, and then their other loss was to Oran, who's 18-1. So it will be an uphill battle, but hey, it's baseball. Anything can happen in baseball. Sometimes an unpredictable sport, so it should be exciting. Should definitely be something to keep your eyes on. And I would definitely implore you, if you don't have anything else going on, if you're able to get down there, 4 p.m. start, not the most convenient time to start a postseason game. People do have jobs, unbeknownst to Misha a lot of times. It's my favorite complaint. Me and Cody dealt with it during basketball season. Jackson was playing in St. Louis, 2 hours away at like 3 p.m. So stupid. And the girls, they're playing at like 4 p.m. on a Wednesday. It's like, what are we doing? I have a lot of issues with Misha sometimes. So definitely keep your eye out there. Kind of looking around the area, some very, very good small school baseball. That is kind of where Southeast Missouri makes their hay. A lot of these teams are all very, very good. Like I said, Class 3, District 1, you have a very good Portageville team as the 1 seed there. Class 2, you've got Bernie in District 1. They've had a good season. A lot of crossover there with their team. A lot of those guys that are good basketball players. That's everywhere. Chaffee's in District 3. They're 19-3, having a heck of a year. East Carter, always solid in District 2. So there's a lot of very, very good baseball to keep an eye on. District 2, or Class 2, though, I mean, absolutely loaded in the southeast area. Like I said, you have Chaffee. You've got Valley in District 4. Kind of stinks. You might be watching the state title game being played in like a, whatever it is, state sectional quarterfinal round, whatever it may be. Class 1, District 2. I mentioned you have a very, very good Oran team. They're looking to make some noise. They're already in the district title game. They'll be playing Bell City on Wednesday. So a very, very good area for baseball. A lot of good teams playing. Definitely keep up with all the teams, what they're doing. Like I said, it's not always easy to do once it gets to the postseason. Can't watch for free anymore, stuff like that a lot of times. I know people will have them on the radio. But yeah, definitely go check out some good baseball. The season is almost over. There's a lot of teams, you're in the postseason. So the next loss, Cape, Jackson, Notre Dame, Saxony catches, they're done. Those kids a lot of them will never pick up a baseball bat again and play. So that's always kind of my plea here is go check out what's going on. Go watch some of these kids play. And we are about at the end. One more person I wanted to highlight, Matthew Alston, Notre Dame, one more individual. He went to state in singles. He lost in the second round there to a very good, very, very, very good player from Parkway Central, I want to say. Yeah, very good season for him, very good career for him at Notre Dame, 2-time singles qualifier for state, 2-time singles champ in districts. Very, very smart kid as well. Just want to give a shout out off the court. We talk about what goes on, on the field, court, track, whatever here primarily, but Matthew Alston, valedictorian, 36 on the ACT, going to Northwestern. So shout out to that guy. Best of luck, whatever it is you want to do. I'm sure it's going to have a lot of success. You're going to be very, very good at whatever it is because you've had a lot of success in everything to this point on the tennis court and in the classroom. So shout out to him. Big time stuff by Matthew Alston. Last, that pretty much does it. Like I said, for prep sports, high school sports, I have to talk about one more shout out, or maybe a couple more shout outs. a former Saxony star track and field athlete, Anna Thomason. She just won the OVC Heptathlon Championship over at SEMO. She PR'd in 3 events. She actually started out the meet tripping in the hurdles, coming in dead last. So, another kind of redemption story there for Anna. She could have just said, all right, well, I'm going to hang my head and we're just going to power through the rest of these events and just whatever. But, she started out in a huge hole and battled all the way back, had PRs in high jump, long jump, shot put, won 3 events, individual events in the heptathlon. And she was also named 2025 Female OVC Field Athlete of the Year this year. So big-time stuff out of Anna. She continues to be just an absolute stud over there at SEMO in the multi-events. And, comes up with a big OVC championship in the heptathlon. Just a couple more individual, accolades, you can say. I mentioned Bryson Wessel earlier. He's going to sectionals for the discus, and he continues to kind of rack up. That's what I'm looking at on my phone right now. He continues to rack up scholarships to play football at the next level, as he is, like I said, very good wrestler. Came 3rd in state, I believe. All-state offensive lineman for the Indians, plays left tackle for Jackson. He's already picked up a few offers. Recently, though, he's gotten offers of Central Michigan, SIU. I know SEMO is offered. Lindenwood was his first offer. And then another Indian, offensive lineman, picked up another offer this past week. Braden Harris, only a sophomore currently, about to be a junior. Big kid. His younger brother of Blaine Harris. Some of you remember Blaine, very, very good basketball player for Jackson. He's playing at the college level as well. He was, maybe you could say probably the star of the team that went to the Final Four. Good bloodlines there. Braden picked up his first offer from Lindenwood. So D1 offer, first offer is pretty awesome. So congrats to him. Congrats to everybody that's kind of, getting their future planned out here. A lot of seniors closing out their high school career. So just want to give a shout out to all those kids. It's been a lot of fun watching them throughout the spring. The spring season's been a lot of fun. Had to fight through some bad weather at times and some illnesses here and there as you do in the spring, but been a lot of fun. Been a very, very good spring season and a whole year as a whole. Like I said, we'll have time to kind of look back on this whole year later on, a few more episodes once we do kind of close out some of the seasons all the way. But, it's been an awesome time. As always, I thank you guys for watching, for listening. If you don't mind, just subscribe, follow, whatever, like the videos and stuff. Check us out on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook videos. I've dropped a video on Facebook as well. Apple Music. Where else? Amazon Music as well. So check us out anywhere you listen to podcasts, anywhere you watch podcasts at. We will be there. And as always, I do it just to highlight these kids, man. Just to highlight what the awesome stuff they're doing. And just kind of get out what they're, some of these accolades that I keep talking about every week. So shout out to all of them. Shout out to everybody that's competing, team sports, individual sports. We're down here at the very nitty gritty. So congratulations, however your career ends up. It's been awesome to watch a lot of you play and compete throughout the years. And so I appreciate that. And I appreciate all of you, like I said, watching and listening. We'll be back next week to kind of talk about and close out some more seasons, unfortunately, and talk about how these postseason are shaping up for teams and who's left. So thank you all for watching, everybody. It's been another fun week covering sports here in the area. As always, we will see you in the next one.